Hey, good morning and welcome to the Knuckle Dragon Billy Goat Review with Mike and Josh. I'm Mike.
I'm Josh.
All right, in this morning's topic, we're gonna do a quick 15-20 minute discussion here on the police drones that we're hearing so much about and whether or not that's legal or ethical. Um, if it's right, wrong. I don't know. We'll kind of figure that out in the next couple minutes here and see what we can do about it. What are your initial thoughts on it there, Josh?
I do not like it one bit.
Why not?
Well, it is an invasion of your freedom that is protected by the Fourth Amendment to have a reasonable search and seizure, if at all possible. In 2015, Congress passed the USA Freedom Act to ban bulk collection of sensitive information such as Americans' communications metadata. For me, too, that is you coming and spying on some of my property that you could not see in a plain view. You know what I'm saying? If you can look through my window at my house and I have a window open and you can see marijuana on the table or something like that, hypothetically, then yeah, you know what? You can come in here. But anything else that I want to do on my property should be all right. And I don't like it. I don't want a fucking drone over here.
Well, but you're saying they can walk up on your property and look in your window, and that's fine.
Oh yeah, if I'm stupid enough to have my windows open. I still don't think that's right either, but at the same
well,
time.
well, what about and I'm just kind of playing a little bit of devil's advocate here, but what about helicopters? I mean, don't they already use helicopters?
Well, they use helicopters in criminal pursuits. They didn't use helicopters to survey areas, especially private property.
Oh, okay. So yeah, maybe that's something I didn't understand. So these drones are specifically going to be surveilling, not necessarily following active targets of some sort.
No, I mean it's not like now. See, this would be cost worthy based on if they could have drones that could fly hundreds of miles. It'd be awesome because you wouldn't have to have somebody in a helicopter flying around wasting fuel and having two souls on board. God forbid something crashes. So if you crash a drone, you crash a drone. You're out some money, but you're not out lives. But it looks like I like what this article says here. This paragraph, it says aerial surveillance and the broad use of drones threaten to undermine the progress made in recent years to prevent unreasonable location tracking and government stockpiling of sensitive personal information. And that's where I run into on it. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I'm stupid enough to have a window open and the drone like flies outside my window and can see something in plain view,
right,
then yes, okay, I should get in trouble. But it looks like here, according to the article, the zoom on some of these is outrageous. There's actually a little GIF, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dude, this thing, you're looking at this here, and it says a demonstration of a digital and optical zoom capacity with footage claims to be taken at 3.7 miles away. And basically, for people that cannot see this because you're listening to a podcast, obviously you can't see this, but it looks like this is on top of a mountain, somebody's house, and it looks like they're almost on another mountain summit away. I mean, this is ridiculous. Why do you need a 3.7 mile zoom?
Yeah,
especially in an unwarranted situation like this. You know what I'm saying? If you have a warrant to search and the safest way is to use a drone, I am all for that. I'm all for it because you're not putting humans at risk.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm just trying to think of it now as like, okay, let's just say there's hundreds of thousands of these police drones. This is way in the future. I'm just kind of thinking hypothetically here. There's hundreds of thousands of these police drones, and they almost create like a web of video stream at all times for the police over the United States. We'll just use the United States. So they just comb every area back and forth all the time. They only land to change their batteries out, back and forth. Can they prosecute or get warrants or whatever based off of things they just randomly find? And then, if so, I mean, is that an invasion of privacy? Is that kind of what do you think there? Is that going down the wrong path?
To have a warrant, there needs to be probable cause on a lot of this. If there's no plain view exception, there's a plain view exception. Basically, like if a cop walks up and you're inside your house and they see you smack the shit out of your kid or something like that, they can come in. Or if they sit there and see you doing like smoking meth in your house,
mm-hmm.
or maybe they smell it. But if they smell it, they still need to get a warrant to come into your house. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
A lot of people are like, well, okay, we got drones flying over anyways. Yeah, that's fine. I can fly a drone. You can fly a drone, and price wise, it's a smart idea for police departments to have something like this. It says here that this drone that shot the 3.7 miles or whatever cost altogether, let's say $6,000, right? In comparison, police helicopters cost anywhere between $500,000 and $3 million, and the operating cost is $200 to $400 per hour, and maintenance cost. As maintainers, we know those maintenance costs can be substantial.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
So I mean, you could have a fleet here of, let's just say you had a fleet of 100, and you
Mm.
have them in certain areas. I mean, there's already places that have the CCTV set up, and I'm cool with that. Like if you're out on the streets, CCTV helps minimize crime. I like that. But whenever you're flying over my property for no reason whatsoever, and especially an unwarranted search, that's where I get a little bound up on it. And more so, like this article says here too, it's eroding a lot of these personal protective rights that we have, personal privacy rights.
Right.
It's
Hmm.
kind of, yeah. What do you think about that, Mike?
Well, is there a difference between just a cop car driving down the road and seeing something versus a drone just flying overhead and seeing something?
Well, here's the thing. When you say seeing something, do you mean something like a criminal act is what you're saying, or is it something on patrol like you see me outside sunbathing nude?
Well, I'm not sure. Is that what you're worried about? Are you worried about
Well,
drones seeing people nude?
yeah, definitely. I don't want to see naked people on drones. No, more so with the drones is I just don't like the erosion of privacy on it. Now, if a drone does see something in a criminal act, possibly, and it's something like under the law established under the Fourth Amendment rights of a plain view exception, then yeah, they should make action on it. Now they shouldn't be sitting here just flying drones around just a neighborhood just to see, if somebody's doing this or doing that and having an unwarranted search. My thing is the evasion of the privacy and the unwarranted search. I think with the introduction of drones as a policing tool, while it's economically feasible to do and it is a great asset to have, I think the perception of infringing on people's personal rights is a definite.
So, just so I'm getting this straight, you're more worried about them, I guess being a peeping tom or, coming close to the house or looking in windows or purposely looking for people sunbathing in their backyards or, enclosed in a privacy fence. And, they're a, they're a couple hundred feet in the air and you don't even know that this drone's there, but they're zoomed in on you, checking you out.
Yeah.
You're worried about that type of invasion of privacy.
Yes, most definitely, and especially something that is an unwarranted search. We're federally protected in our property minus certain conditions,
Isn't
and
that already a thing though? Like even private drones, you can't do that. It's illegal.
you shouldn't be able to. But yeah, some of these articles that come up is that they're giving these police basically carte blanche on a lot of this, and being like, "Here you go, you got a drone, fly it around." I mean, I think it really creates a slippery slope on a lot of this, to be quite honest.
Well, no, I could agree with that because at the end of the day, I mean, even police officers are humans too, and they're going to feed off of emotion and, if they're weird and twisted and get turned on by that type of stuff. I mean, I wouldn't put it past anybody. Just because you're in an authoritative position doesn't mean you're this almighty self-regulating person who can control every aspect of them. I mean, there's crooked cops all over. So, I mean, I'm not going to deny that. There would never be a case where this would happen because it definitely would. Now, how often it would happen, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the unknown on that. I like what you said. With cops out and about, there's checks and balances on it. We can physically see the cops out and about. We physically videotape cops. Cops physically have cams on their car and on their person. You know what I'm saying? With these drones, how do we
That's true.
police the drones? We don't police the drones. And here's something here. You'll like this too. It says aerial surveillance and the broad use of drones threaten to undermine the progress made in recent years to prevent unreasonable location tracking and governments. This is what I already read about. It says with existing and emergency technologies, government may be able to use surveillance to track our movement in mass and catalog participation in constitutionally protected activities such as protests, religious ceremonies, and political rallies.
Well,
I definitely draw the line on that because whatever religion I choose to go, I don't need a drone following me into the synagogue. you know,
well, right. And you actually brought up a good point that I didn't think about. The difference between having a vehicle on the ground or officers on on foot or on a bicycle or something like that is you can you can actually like check and balances them. You can watch them and see what they're doing and record them and that type of stuff. It's like they can't necessarily act out as easily because you can see them. You can say, hey man, that's messed up, you're not allowed to do that. You can record it yourself. How do you do that if you have a drone in the sky that's zoomed in 3 miles and watching you do whatever you're doing in the privacy of your own home or backyard?
you can't. There's no checks and balances on it. There's only a couple people that are going to be able to see this information and not be able to, if you could see a drone looking at you 3.7 miles away, you have like X-Men type powers. I mean, that's what I don't get is that how is this right in any sense of the word? Now, if there's a search warrant on my property and they want to use drones, go for it. I
I don't know.
whenever there's safety involved in things like that, for the purpose, it needs to be a warranted search is basically my big qualm about it. It needs to be a warranted search under the provisions of Fourth Amendment rights. Boom.
Yeah, I don't know. This is like some Big Brother shit. Like,
It really is. I mean, and here's the thing too, is that we already know a lot of these applications that we use, like the Facebook and the and our phones and all these other social media
Alexa,
programs. Oh, Alexa, yeah, exactly.
Siri.
I mean, it's just amazing. A lot of this that we already have this invasion of privacy as it is right now that we mask under the technology spectrum. But dude, I am really, really uneasy about drones as being out there just doing their thing. And especially if they can sit there and pinpoint you. Because here's the thing, they already know who you are. I mean, facial recognition, whatever, things like that.
Yeah.
Who knows what kind of, they say, well, Mike was at, Casey's getting a piece of pizza at, 9:49 a.m. on Saturday or something like that. I don't want them to know that. There's no reason for them to know that. Now, if I'm doing something that's criminally illegal, that's nice. That's like an oxymoron, isn't it? Criminally illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm doing something that's illegal and they have the proper documentation to track me or search me or anything like that, then I'm more for it. But I just think giving drones carte blanche and more so giving police departments the authority to do this without proper search warrants is really going to stifle a lot of people's personal freedoms.
Well, let me again, let me play devil's advocate here. Because we are focusing on the bad, but what about the good? What if we had these drones all across America and there was an Amber Alert and you could just go back and look at this drone footage, almost immediately, and you can backtrack and then move forward in time and see where the vehicle went. You could find children quicker. What about that?
That'd be perfect. That'd be one of those perfect situations that would probably not happen very often. I think more so the use of this would be more so for the maladapted than the good stuff like that. That'd be great though. I mean, that's a really good example of that. Or, you have these car chases and things like that. Instead of trying to put people at risk, these high speed criminal pursuits, you just let the guy go and you follow
Yeah.
him by the drone. You're gonna find him eventually. He's gonna have to run out of fuel, not hurting anybody, if they're just taking off.
Yeah, and you're not burning up fuel. You know what I mean? I mean, once your drone gets to a certain limit, I mean, everybody's drone's going to have a range of area it can go before it can't get back home.
Right.
You just deploy another drone in that area. You have another one waiting, ready to continue the chase. Yeah, that would be cool. But no, I think you're right. I mean, you definitely kind of go into some gray area and some slippery slopes there where you do have some twisted cops and whoever's going to be manning these. I mean, you can't fully trust anybody like that. I mean, everybody's got that little itch in the back of their head that's like, man, nobody's gonna know.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's not regulated. And I mean, with cops are such a public figure. You can see a cop out, you see the presence, you see what the cop is doing. Hey, I like this one. Why don't we put drones on the border wall? We just track folks.
Well, yeah, I'm not against that either. Yeah, I would be for that, but I'm still for some sort of barrier as well, though. I would do both.
There's already a barrier there.
Well, not over the whole thing, but
Oh, potato.
well, no, I mean it's
Then put some drones over those areas. We don't why construct something? We can just have a drone full of folks and be like, okay, here they go. They stopped at
no, yeah, I'm cool with that too.
they stopped at McDonald's in El Paso.
Well, yeah, I would be
Egon.
cool with that. I mean, it's just you can already see and you can talk to these border cities, and I mean, they state it all the time, like, hey, we have this metal fence here, and now we have less crime. I mean, we have less border crossings, so I mean, it's just like, why don't you duplicate that? I would still say drones too, but um, everybody knows a physical barrier keeps people out.
Huh. Okay.
Not everybody, but
Except for drones. Physical barriers don't keep drones out. They fly in the sky.
yeah, you could just put your heroin or whatever you got on your drone, fly it over the wall, drop it off, come back. Just keep doing
See,
that.
they actually do that. I think I've read some stories about drug delivery via drone. Maybe we're in the wrong business.
Now I think we're getting a little off topic, but even for military purposes, I mean, we have drones already that we use in the military. So I mean, so
Yeah,
is what it is.
we use those to kill poor Yemeni children and wives and suspected terrorists. So
Yeah, well,
yeah.
bring that to the U.S. We'll be all right.
All right, man. I think we kind of hit on this with a little technology short podcast on that. So my thing is, police drones would be acceptable with warranted search warrants. You.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a perfect world they would be great and they'd help out. There's some good that they could do, but we don't live in a perfect world, and we have to accommodate to the bad people as well. So I would say there would have to be a lot of hard lines on it, for what is legal, what's not legal, and really hard repercussions, and how we can checks and balances our officers or whoever's going to be operating these to know that they're doing it in an ethical way.
It's going to be some nerd like in their mom's basement eating Cheetos, having like Cheeto marks over their joystick, flying the drone around, drinking Red Bull.
Oh, I know, right? I mean, geez, then you have to worry about like people hacking into these things and flying around a police drone. So,
oh yeah.
So those are my thoughts. I would say we just gotta, yeah, maybe we're not ready for that yet. So,
I mean, I think with some more, a little bit more insight on it and maybe some more clarity on it, but yeah, I agree with you. I don't think we're ready for that. So,
well, for everybody out there listening, I mean, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You can hop on our Facebook page at the Knuckle Dragon Billy Goat Review with Mike and Josh. And you can check us out on SoundCloud, iTunes. Here, eventually, we're going to also be on YouTube. But we'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. So check us out on Facebook. This is Mike.
And I'm Josh.
I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Later, man.